Hi, and welcome to our first video. Something that we've been talking about to do for quite a long time. Basically, we want to review beers that we're pouring, cans in our fridges, wines that we stock, and even talking about some of our spirits. We're going to be doing this on a hopefully very regular basis.
We're going to try to do it on a regular basis.
Try to do it on a regular basis, but basically we wanted to take you through our picks for the week, basically.
So we've picked 3 of our favourite beers that are pouring from this week. These are 3 new beers that have just started pouring, so they'll be ready for you to try. Out of our favourites, you'll be shocked to know that we haven't picked Steady Roaring Man, because as everybody probably knows, that if Tim could pick his favourite beer, it would be Steady all day long. So
yeah, that's true.
If you come here, you probably heard us talking about Steady. Maybe we'll save that one for another day.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay, so our first beer for this week is from the local brewery, Grey Trees. They're in Aberdare, and they're multi-award winning, and always, pretty much up to this day, been in cask or bottle. But recently, they've started kegging beer, which is great for us. So when we were with them on the train ride up to Beerex just before we won the award for best bar in the UK, and we asked them what's going on, and they said, yeah, this is coming. But at one point they weren't actually going to put some of their regular stuff into keg. We were kind of going, please do it, and they have. So here we are. So Mosaic, if you don't know, is one of their core pales, and it's 4.5%. That's going to show you the pump clip. We love the guys at Grey Trees. They just produce really, really good beer. So this is our first taste of it on keg. So let's give it a go.
So Mosaic, so this is a single hop?
That's correct.
So Mosaic is the name of the hop?
That's correct, yeah.
So I always traditionally have liked anything with Mosaic hops in. Like when I first started getting into craft beer, one of my go-to things was if a beer had Mosaic in it, I could feel quite comfortable that I'd like it. Things have moved on slightly, but I still am a big fan of Mosaic, and I think actually this might have been one of the first Grey Trees beers that I tried when we went to visit them. We went to National Tap, didn't we?
Yeah, that's correct.
A while ago, yeah, and we got a couple of
quite a few years ago when we were scoping out opening this place, and we wanted to go and see what other people were doing and how they were running their bars and tap rooms. So right, let's give it a taste. Obviously, mine normally has a bit more head. I've literally just poured it, so I can't vouch for that. It did have a nice thick head when we poured it.
Now, for me, normally I like my beers so that you can't see through them. So just slightly to the side, like a bit of a spoiler alert, I've got a bit of my Polly's, which is one of the beers we're going to talk through. But you can see the difference in that. That's like dank and hazy.
Yeah.
There you are. Compared to the Mosaic, which is a lot clearer. Is that down to filtration?
I don't know the answer to that, to be honest. I guess it's how breweries undertake their process and how they want their beers to appear. But let's have a taste.
Well, that's just really light and easy going, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess at 4.5%, it works really well. It's a really good session beer. There's a lovely hint of bitterness, as well as a really balanced level of hops. It's not overpowering. I mean, a lot of the craft beers can be super hoppy, super crazy, and I think sometimes actually having something that isn't over the top is a good way of enjoying that.
Yeah, certainly for a lot of our customers who either want to start on a more sessionable beer, so something that's in the 4%, or if you're looking for something that's just really easy drinking. It's not scary at all, is it?
No. Honestly, this is absolutely delicious, and is definitely my sort of pick as my first beer of the night.
Yeah, it'd be a really good one to get started on, I think.
Oh, definitely.
If you just wanted to pop in for one.
Yeah, and I mean, it's quite interesting to drink this in keg versus cask. Obviously, cask is a lot warmer, kept it a lot warmer, and obviously we're at 4 degrees in our fridge. which I think does change the characteristic a bit in terms of the flavour profile. But I think it works really well. It's still really balanced.
It's lovely, and certainly, you know, on days like today, which you can't see, but it's what 20 degrees outside at the moment, and the sunshine. It's going to be hopefully warmer tomorrow, and as we step into the summer now, this is exactly the sort of beer that I could be sat out in the beer garden in the sun, enjoying.
100%. No, I'm really enjoying that. That's absolutely delicious.
So you are. So that's Mosaic from Grey Trees, super local to us actually. One of the
Aberdare.
Just up the train line.
4.5%. Ray, who is the owner and head brewer at Grey Trees, is an awesome guy. If you get a chance, you should go in and check out his tap room, National Tap in Aberdare. That's a cool little venue to go and try some of his other beers he's got. We recently had Mazango on, which was a mango pale, and I think we also had what did we have? We had a West Coast, I think, pale from them as well, which was the first beer that they kegged.
And we quite regularly have their stuff in bottle as well, don't we? So we've got like Afghan Pale, we've had JPRs. Yeah,
Craddock's, Bitter. It's just, and that can be found in our bottle shop as well. So no, that's a really good start to it.
Right, very pleasant.
Right,
floral, bit of sweetness. Nice.
I'm going to go and pour the next beer, which, as Claire kind of alluded to, is another Welsh brewery. We think they're one of our top breweries here at Craft Republic. It's Polly's from Mould. So bear with me while I pour that. Claire, do you want to chat to the group while I pour?
No. Our next one, Polly's.
Yeah, so as we said, we love Polly's. We have a permanent line here, and as anybody who comes in regularly will know that pretty much every time you come in there's something new to try. They are amazing at what they do in terms of the brewing process and how they play with hops and how they've developed this signature style, not only using their yeast strain, but also the way that they combine hops and how they add them throughout the process of brewing each individual beer. On this occasion, we've got Dream Cycle, which is a 6.9% India Pale Ale or an IPA, and as you can see, it is. You can't even see through it. It's absolutely, like, it is just basically opaque.
So I mean, Polly's like, would we class them as a fairly new brewery? I mean, they're coming to their 4th birthday. I think,
they are. Yeah.
So I think in terms of when you talk about, you know, some of the more established breweries that have been around, like Cloudwaters and, you know, people like that, even Brew York, who we just had here this week, you know, Polly's are fairly new to the game, I guess.
Oh, 100%. They started as home brewers and have literally just gone from home brewers to this like amazing brewery that are consistently producing good beers, and that's all sorts of styles. They haven't stuck to one specific style. They've kind of dabbled in everything from gozes to sours to pales, and
black IPAs.
Yes, black IPAs as well, and every single one, I can say there's not been a beer that I've not enjoyed from them. They each have their own characteristics, and they've kind of really kind of tried to bring out the best of that particular style. But at the end of the day, they still stamp their own little signature on it.
Do you remember when we were, before we established craft here, and we had our couple of pop-up events over at Hangfire, and we had a Polly's beer on, didn't we? And that must have been like really early days for them, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that was 3 years ago. So that would have been, that's probably not, you know, within their first year of actually brewing, and it was a farmhouse style,
It
wasn't
was,
it?
and I remember like everybody was talking about this brewery. So that was they were Locker Poly at that time when
they were.
changed their name.
Yeah.
And everybody was talking about this amazing Welsh brewery. We were like, oh my god, we've got to get it. And then it was our farmhouse style, and
yes,
quite to everybody's taste, but it was still a really great beer.
Yeah, it really was, and it was one of those things.
It's just it was a little bit different, but I think that's kind of what we wanted to do here.
Yeah,
at
it
Craft
really
as
was.
Well. It's bring over styles that maybe challenge your perception of craft beer and what you think beers can be like.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, that's the point. Even in our fridges, we have these really crazy beers that like you can try, and I mean that's why like we're starting a sort of a craft beer meetup club that we're going to be holding on a monthly basis. Basically, you get to try and taste like 4 or 5 different beers, and you can sit around a table, have a conversation, and I think it's kind of a really interesting time for people to try stuff that you may not want to buy a whole can or a bottle of, and
meet like-minded people and just sit down, have a chat about beer, try some styles that you wouldn't normally try, maybe just be a bit adventurous and have a bit of an explore outside of your normal beers. And Tim's going to sit with you to talk you through them as well, so extra added bonus. So this is a 6.9%.
Is it 6.9? I thought it was 6.5.
But this is the other thing, like I love Polly's. My mum loves Polly's. We recently introduced her and she loves them, but they are they're known for their slightly higher ABV. Like they do these dank, juicy, it's sort of fairly common now that we have Polly's that are in the 6s.
Oh, 100%.
They did that table beer though, didn't they? Leno, was it?
Yeah, that was 3.8.
Yeah, it was certainly on the lower end of the scale. And do you know what? I think for a brewery that have become known for having this kind of dank, tropical, hazy, kind of punchy beers, I was really interested to see how they would translate that, if they could translate that down into the lower ABV styles, but they absolutely did. That signature strain that you talked about, which kind of brings this like tropical type, stone fruit notes into their beers, was as prominent in the lower ABVs. I think it is certainly up in their higher ones. Yeah,
it is, and I think they're just great at really stamping their mark and being good at what they do.
I'm a big fan because I like, I sort of started my craft beer journey with slightly more fruitier beers or fruited beers. And for me with Polly's, there's fruit characteristics in the beers because of the way that they brew, because of the hops they use, and because of their yeast strain. That's not fruited, but I think if you normally like your fruitier beers, but you're looking for something maybe not quite as sweet, I think Polly's is always a really good go-to.
Yeah, I think that's something that the difference, there are often beers that have had fruit added to them, but also a lot of the fruit notes that you're tasting isn't fruit added at all. It's just purely from the hops. So I'm gonna try because
It's probably the longest I've sat with the Polly's in front of me and not drunk it.
Yes.
It's just beautiful, isn't it? It's got that like real tropical, just like almost slight grassy note on this one, a little bit of sort of cut grass, but just that tropical, that stone fruit.
Yeah, there's definitely stone fruit there. I get a lovely hint of sweetness, that super soft mouthfeel that I'm used to expecting from Polly's, and just that nice lingering bitter finish. It's not too overpowering, it's just a lovely level.
It's beautiful. For me, that bitterness is really well balanced. So again, I'm not a massive fan of like overly like heavily bitter beers.
No, you're not.
I know I'm really not. But I like it when you just get enough on the end note, but it's not overpowering and it really doesn't hold. For me, what lingers on this is more that stone fruit and just a very balanced bitterness rather than it being kind of, like really there at the back of your throat.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it does not drink like a 6.9.
No, it really doesn't.
I would argue it was 5.8, maybe 6 at a push, but 6.9, it definitely does not drink like that, and absolutely stunning.
It's lovely. It's so soft and rounded, isn't it? It's the mouthfeel on this it's just really, it's pillowy.
Yes. No, that's a good description.
But without being really heavy that you get from some of the dippers, you know, which is round a bit like weighty. This, as you said, like I wouldn't say that was 6.9, which is, you know, worrying because I could quite happily sit and drink that.
It goes down very easily. Yeah, I think that's sort of described beer number 2, and I think we're going to go slightly further afield for beer number 3.
Further afield in terms of geographic location and in style.
Yeah, both.
So we've covered 2 Welsh. Just coincidentally, when we picked them, it was only after we decided to talk about these beers that we sort of looked and went, oh my god, they're 2 Welsh beers. So we've gone from Wales to Estonia.
So
the closest we're going to get to a holiday this year.
Yeah, that's
closest
true.
Most people are going to get with the flight situation.
That's true. I mean, the final one we're going to try is the O2 from Pulara, which is a American porter. Hey, and here we have our 3rd and final beer. As I said, it's Pulara. O2. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it. 5.5% American porter. We were introduced to Pulara.
No, there's much debate about how we pronounce our team.
100%, and also with some of our customers. We were introduced to them via a red rye ale, which we had very early on when we opened the bar. And that was just like packed full of raisins, with a nice malty finish. It was really good, and when we were looking for something a bit different, it was a red ale, and we were looking for something a bit different from the usual lineup of sort of standard pales, IPAs, that type of thing. We really wanted to have something interesting, and when we came across them, we were pleasantly surprised and really enjoyed their beer. And now we have a porter from them, which is the first time we've had, and that's our 2nd beer we've had from them, isn't it?
Yeah, so we always have a dark beer pouring out of our 14 lines. Even though we change up breweries, we like to keep some style sometimes. So we'll always make sure we've got a sour beer, we'll always make sure we've got a non-alcoholic, dipper, lager, cider, but we always make sure that we have a dark beer on as well. But it's been a while since we've had a porter on, isn't it?
I think so,
yeah. A lot of stouts recently.
Yeah, we have.
And a lot of milk stouts.
Yes.
And certainly more ones that are on that sweeter end of the spectrum, which are, you know, which are lovely, and can be quite thick to pour, really rounded mouthfeel, certainly if they're at the higher ABV. Also, if you spill them, so we do have one regular customer who I will not name, who knocked over a pint of a really sticky beer, and it was just carnage because it just stuck to everything. It was so sticky. The stouts do tend to be that heavier, sweeter end of the scale, whereas porters are a bit lighter on the mouthfeel. So
yeah, slightly thinner.
I'm expecting, we've not tried this one yet, but from this I'm expecting something that's not got that like dessert sweetness to it. That's just kind of heavy.
I guess we'll see. I mean, my sort of feeling from American porters, it's going to be much more on the bitter end, potentially with a nice bitter finish. But let's dive in and see what happens.
Ooh, there is sweetness on the nose though.
What am I getting there?
It's a slight oakiness or a slight smokiness.
Yeah, it's smoky. I almost got bacon frazzles.
Yes, I totally understand that. Yeah, you know when you've at the end of a bag of bacon frazzles,
yes.
and you just kind of get that just little smell from the powder at the bottom.
That's right, exactly. That was my first.
From that.
That was my first taste. I mean, that's almost as bad as when we had onion beer gates. You know, yeah.
We had ones which taste like bubblegum as well, which have caused us a little bit of trouble. So,
but I think that was the verdant that we had on that I got like people said it was like maple bacon, and I got like onions, and it was just referred to as the onion beer.
Do you know what now that you've said about the frazzles, I can't get it out.
But it's not unpleasant.
But maybe that's the smokiness that I was.
Yeah, no, I think that's what it is because obviously with the bacon with that Frazzles they tried to be that sort of bacony barbecue. Yeah, it's that kind of smoky.
If you like bacon in your beer, this could be the one for you. So this is an American porter.
Yeah.
What ABV is this?
This is 5.5.
Oh, that's pretty decent.
Yeah, so right in the middle. I wouldn't necessarily have it in the middle of, say, if you're having a pale and an IPA, I wouldn't necessarily go in the middle. I think this would be the end to it. But let's. Is it
going to taste like bacon Frazzles?
I don't think it will, but
No.
let's try.
I mean, the good news is it does not taste like bacon Frazzles.
No. Good level of chocolate notes.
Yeah. It's sweeter than I was expecting. Not that it's sweet, but it has got a really lovely sweetness to it, which I think, given that it's not overly thick or heavy on the mouthfeel, is really nice.
But it's still got a bit of velvety finish to it as well.
Yeah. And that smokiness.
Yeah, smokiness and definitely a bit of coffee and a subtle bitterness at the end.
No bacon.
Yeah, I think it's actually really easy drinking.
Do you know what? I think if you had like a skimmed iced coffee, for me, that's kind of, it's got that.
It has, yeah. No, I get exactly where you're coming from. It does taste like it could be like an alcoholic iced coffee.
Yeah, so you could put a couple of ice cubes in that.
Well, it's 4 degrees. It doesn't need to be any colder than that. But no, I think that's a good description. It is almost like a mocha iced coffee, but with a nice bitter finish.
That's lovely because it's got a really nice level of sweetness, but it's without being too sweet, and it's not heavy. I mean, I'm a big fan of milk stouts, but actually that's just enough. They can be a bit too much, whereas that porter is.
But on a hot summer's day, this would actually go. I mean, generally people steer away from stouts and stuff like that on a hot day because it can be a bit too overpowering, too heavy. But actually, that goes down really nicely in terms of what we're trying to do. Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably one of those. I almost do class myself. I'm like that seasonal drinker. I drink red wine in the winter and white wine in the summer, and then in winter I do tend to gravitate towards like your milk stouts and sort of the darker end of the scale. But yeah, that's really, really nice. It is just like an iced latte. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I think that is perfect, even in the summer. So yeah, and I mean that is man, I'm really enjoying that actually. You can tell which one I'm enjoying more as
Me too. I really like that. That's lovely.
But I mean, obviously, we've taken you through 3 beers that we've got pouring today and this week. Obviously, we want to do a bit more of this, so give us feedback on what you liked, what you didn't like of the video, but also to point out that we've always done beer flights, and it's just that we don't necessarily call it that. It's multiple thirds, and we always recommend 3 thirds. And to be honest, with a lineup like this would be a perfect beer flight to select. And that is the Mosaic from Grey Trees, Dream Cycle from Polly's, and the O2 from Pulawa.
The
porter. Obviously, we'll be pouring these all week, and please tell us what you think, and if you want to see more of this, because we really enjoy doing it, and we'd like to do a bit more.
Yeah, we get to drink beers on a Tuesday. So
yeah, that's really good, and if this becomes a regular thing, then obviously every Tuesday we'll be putting out a video to talk about new stuff in the bar, and there's always new stuff here, as you know, and if you don't know, come down and see us and try all this cool stuff. We'll hopefully see you again soon.
See you soon.
Bye.